What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning Lennox Lewis. Lennox Lewis does respond to AJ's comments earlier from his Sky Sports interview, and this is what he had to say. First, he said, disappointed in AJ's words, but I understand that this jealousy narrative was only fabricated after I criticized them for Wilder negotiations. All of a sudden, I'm a hater. Ask who benefits from such simple-minded narrative. Not AJ, not me. Then he goes on, he says, wow, he's right. We are cut from a different cloth. Undisputed wasn't something I worried about. It was something I went after until it was accomplished. Okay. And looking at Lennox Lewis's statements, they were more passive. You know, he chose the subtle and the less offensive or less aggressive route, rather, and responding, just disappointed in AJ's words, after the jealousy narrative, meaning that someone put in Joshua's head that it was jealousy, the reason why Lennox Lewis was indeed labeled a hater. And to counterpunch that, Lennox Lewis, I don't think it was people that done that. I think it was Lennox Lewis himself was responsible for the backlash, the comments, the negative remarks from Anthony Joshua, simply because of the remarks that he made. One begets the other, in this situation. Lennox Lewis could have cut things, down the middle. He could have stayed out of the negotiations. As he said, he really didn't know about the negotiations, but then turns around and say, I think that Anthony Joshua was being greedy. Well, if you don't know about the negotiations, why are you responding as if you knew about the negotiations? Because it seems like, okay, you said you didn't know about the negotiations, but then you've heard some sort of information that led you to believe on what you spoke on. Okay, so he had to hear something. Either it was from Wilder's team that told him about how what was going on in the negotiations, and he just thought to himself, okay, that ain't right, so I'm siding with you. But then in comments after comments, and he's replied to me, and we've had words personally via Twitter on how, certain negotiations were supposed to go based on certain things, where in fact, when he did his own unification with Holyfield and he was the B-side fighter, he accepted the bulk of money, which was a flat rate from Evander Holyfield. So I don't see how he couldn't understand or empathize with Deontay Wilder or with Anthony Joshua, because he was the guy, unlike Anthony Joshua, unlike the A-side, he was like Deontay Wilder. Now, for that reason, I can understand why he would side with Deontay, because he was the B-side fighter, like Deontay is in that situation, in those negotiations. Deontay Wilder was the B-side fighter. He received contracts and offers from the A-side on what they were going to give him or offer him in that fight. Whereas Lennox Lewis took the $10 million to fight the first fight with Evander Holyfield. You see what I'm saying? So, only to turn around and say when finding out about the $120 million, he just said I would have took it and left it at that. He should have criticized Deontay like he criticized Anthony Joshua all that time. And at this point, like I said, cut from a different cloth. That was a way of saying, hey, I've already achieved what you're worried about getting. So it was slick. That was like a slick cap remark. Again, it was passive. It wasn't nothing that was too, but then again, you're looking at two guys that don't really talk a lot of shit. And it surprised me from Anthony Joshua kind of, it kind of surprised me because of the way he remained quiet all this time. And then, of course, he went on, went out and said that, interrupted the reporter or whatnot about what happened, or how he felt about Lennox Lewis. You know what I'm saying? So that's something that she compared him. And I guess the idea of comparing Lennox Lewis to himself angered him. Hearing his name, like I said before, angered him. So, I think he took it upon himself to say that. Okay. So, he's undisputed. Lennox Lewis is an undisputed champion, ex-undisputed champion, former champion. Okay. And I feel that it's easy for Lennox Lewis to say, hey, that's something that I did that I got after, because everything is said and done with Lennox Lewis. You know what I'm saying? And it was funny because he was just like, I can't really imagine Lennox Lewis actually hollering, because it has an exclamation mark behind what he's saying. It was something that I went through until it was accomplished. Anthony Joshua. So it is the reply, the counterpunch from Lennox Lewis. But Lennox Lewis doesn't seem mad. He doesn't seem bothered by it, but he did send his tweets of interest, of how he felt, his thoughts on how he felt about Anthony Joshua making those remarks. Of course, I'm about to go live. Stay tuned for that. And by the time you see this video, I probably will already be live. And we will go into depths between these two Brits, these two men, Lewis versus Joshua. It will continue. So stay tuned to that. You guys tell me what you think about Lennox Lewis's comments. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace.